October 1st, 2013. Glen Park Branch Library, San Francisco. A quiet afternoon, the kind where people whisper over laptops and the air smells like old books and coffee. At a small table near the back, a 29-year-old man in a hoodie types furiously. His screen glows with chat logs, admin panels, and Bitcoin wallets holding fortunes. He is calm, almost serene. He believes he is invisible, untouchable, hidden behind layers of encryption, routing through the dark web, operating the most revolutionary criminal enterprise the internet has ever seen. He is the Dread Pirate Roberts, the shadowy overlord of Silk Road, the Amazon of drugs, the eBay of everything illegal. In 2.5 years, his site has facilitated over $1 billion in transactions. Heroin from Germany, cocaine from Colombia, LSD from California, weapons, hacked credit cards, fake passports, anything you could dream of, delivered to your door with customer reviews and dispute resolution. He takes a cut of every sale, amassing hundreds of millions in Bitcoin while preaching liberty from his digital throne. But right now, at this exact moment, FBI agents are closing in. One distracts him with small talk about the noise level. Another circles behind. In a perfectly timed lunge, they grab his arms, slam the laptop shut before it can encrypt, and cuff him. Ross Ulbricht's world ends in a public library, surrounded by strangers who have no idea they've just witnessed the fall of the dark web's first king. He looks up, stunned, as agents read him his rights. The architect of the largest anonymous marketplace in history is done. But this isn't just a drug bust. This is the collapse of an ideology made flesh. A young physics graduate who wanted to build a world without governments, without borders, without rules. And in trying to protect it, he crossed lines that would haunt him forever. How does a straight-A student, an Eagle Scout with a master's degree, become the man who allegedly orders hits over the internet? And after a sentence designed to bury him alive, how does he walk free again? Ross William Ulbricht was born March 27, 1984, in Austin, Texas. Good family, comfortable life. He was the kid who built things. Robots, models, experiments in the garage. Eagle Scout by high school. Scholarship to the University of Texas at Dallas for physics. Then a master's in material science at Penn State. Clean-cut, thoughtful, the kind of guy parents brag about. But somewhere along the way, Ross discovered ideas that changed everything. Ludwig von Mises, Murray Rothbard, Austrian economics, voluntarism, agorism. He devoured books on free markets and individual liberty, became a Ron Paul supporter during the 2008 campaign, donating to the cause and dreaming of a world where coercion didn't exist. Government, he believed, was the real criminal, taxing, regulating, imprisoning people for victimless crimes like drug use. By his mid-20s, he'd tried entrepreneurship, day trading, used books, but nothing stuck. He moved to San Francisco, lived simply, practiced yoga, read philosophy. He wanted to create something that proved his ideals could work, something that bypassed the state entirely. In late 2010, living in a small house, he started growing psychedelic mushrooms, high-quality ones. He wanted to sell them anonymously, without fear of arrest. That's when he discovered Tor, the Onion Router, military-grade anonymity software, and Bitcoin, the brand-new digital currency that was untraceable and borderless. The pieces clicked. Why sell mushrooms on the corner when you could build an entire marketplace hidden from the world? February 3rd, 2011. Silk Road launches on the dark web. At first, it's just Ross. He posts his mushrooms under vendor accounts he controls. The site is basic. Simple HTML, a forum, escrow system he coded himself. Buyers send Bitcoin to Silk Road's wallets. Ross holds it until delivery is confirmed, then releases payment minus commission. No banks, no IDs, no government oversight. Just pure voluntary exchange. Word spreads fast in the crypto and drug forums. Within months, vendors flood in. Growers, chemists, smugglers from around the globe list their products. LSD blotters with 5-star reviews, Afghan heroin with lab purity reports, ecstasy pills stamped with Superman logos. Customers leave feedback like it's Amazon. Fast shipping, excellent stealth, A+++ would buy again. Ross, as admin Dread Pirate Roberts, named after the rotating alias in The Princess Bride, posts manifestos on the forums. He talks about ending the war on drugs, about creating a space where adults can make their own choices. Silk Road isn't just a drug site, he insists. It's a proof of concept for a freer world. By mid-2011, daily sales hit thousands. Bitcoin's value is exploding, and Ross is holding tens of thousands of coins. He hires coders, moderators, customer support. The site gets sleek: categories, search filters, private messaging. He implements tumbling to mix coins, making transactions even harder to trace. At its peak in 2013, Silk Road has over 900,000 registered users, 13,000 product listings, and processes millions in sales weekly. Ross's personal Bitcoin holdings balloon to over 1 million coins, worth billions at today's prices, but back then, still an insane fortune. He's 27 years old, living modestly in a San Francisco apartment under aliases, logging in from cafes with multiple VPNs and Tor. He believes he's built something unstoppable, immortal even. The Dread Pirate Roberts identity could be passed on if needed. But empires built on secrets have weak points, and Ross is about to learn how fragile his really is. Success breeds enemies. By 2012, Silk Road is too big to ignore. Law enforcement agencies worldwide are watching. DEA, FBI, IRS, Homeland Security. They all want a piece. But tracing Bitcoin through Tor is a nightmare. Ross feels safe. Paranoia creeps in, though. Vendors get busted and flip. Hackers try to extort him. One user, Friendly Chemist, claims a vendor owes him $500,000 and threatens to release thousands of customer addresses if not paid. Ross can't let that happen. Real names and addresses would destroy everything, get people killed or imprisoned. He turns to his private messages with a user called Red and White, supposedly a Hells Angels enforcer running a violence-as-a-service operation on the site. Ross negotiates $150,000 in Bitcoin to solve the problem permanently. Photos come back. A staged murder scene. A body with timestamps. Ross pays more when another threat emerges. But the real turning point came in early 2013, when his trusted admin, Curtis Green, username Chronic Pain, got arrested in a controlled delivery. Green flips immediately, gives agents access to the staff chat. Ross, panicking, thinks Green stole Bitcoin and will talk. Through another admin, who is actually undercover agents, he arranges a hit on Green for $80,000 per person. 6 people total who supposedly know too much, including Green. Gruesome photos arrive of Green's torture and murder. Ross is relieved. The site is safe. What he doesn't know: Green is alive, working with Homeland Security. The photos are fake. The hitmen are agents or scammers pocketing his Bitcoin. No one actually dies. But Ross has now paid for 6 murders. In his journal, he writes about the weight of it, justifies it as necessary for the greater good. The libertarian dreamer has become someone willing to order death from behind a keyboard. The investigation closes in like a noose. It starts with early mistakes Ross made, using his real Gmail to promote Silk Road on Bitcoin forums, asking coding questions on Stack Overflow that traced back to his identity. IRS agent Gary Alford pieced it together while others chased ghosts. As the multi-agency hunt intensified, separate audits exposed corruption in the ranks. DEA agent Carl Mark Force, posing as a drug lord to infiltrate the operation, instead extorted Ulbricht and stole hundreds of thousands in Bitcoin, while Secret Service agent Sean Bridges hacked site accounts to siphon even more. Both ended up in prison, serving sentences longer than some dealers they'd helped bust. But the feds kept coming. They seized servers in Iceland, tracked VPN logs, infiltrated the staff. Variety Jones, Ross's mentor on the site, advised him to kill more threats. Ross moved apartments constantly, used fake IDs, encrypted everything. But on October 1st, 2013, he was careless, logging in at the library without noticing the plainclothes agents who've been tailing him for weeks. The arrest was surgical. His laptop yielded everything: wallets, journals, chat logs, the murder solicitations. The Dread Pirate Roberts was unmasked as a mild-mannered physics grad from Texas. February 2015. Federal Court, Manhattan. The trial was a spectacle. Prosecutors painted Ross as a kingpin who profited from addiction and death, who ordered murders to protect his empire. They read his journal entries. "I want to be a role model, but also the captain of a battleship." The defense argues entrapment, that Variety Jones and others pushed him, that no one was actually hurt by the hits. The jury doesn't buy it. Guilty on all counts: narcotics trafficking, money laundering, computer hacking, continuing criminal enterprise, the Kingpin statute. May 29, 2015. Sentencing Day. Judge Catherine Forrest is brutal. She calls Silk Road an attack on society, blames it for overdoses, though no direct causation proven, and hammers the attempted murders. For what? So you could be free? So drugs could be free? She asks. Double life sentences plus 40 years, no parole. Ross, in a jumpsuit, speaks softly. "I wanted to empower people. I never wanted to hurt anyone." The courtroom is silent. His mother Lynn cries in the gallery. At 31, Ross is sent to die in prison. Appeals fail. Supreme Court denies certiorari. In high-security pens, he draws, writes, paints. Art auctions raise money for appeals. The Free Ross movement grows. Libertarians, crypto pioneers, even some politicians call the sentence barbaric, disproportionate. Bitcoin hits all-time highs. The 144,000 BTC seized from Ross becomes worth over $15 billion. The government auctions it off. Years pass. Ross rotates prisons: Tucson, Florence Supermax. He reads, meditates, stays hopeful. The crypto world never forgets him. Conferences have Free Ross signs. Petitions reach millions. In 2024, Donald Trump, courting libertarians, promises, if elected, he'll commute Ross's sentence on day one. The crowd cheers. November comes. Trump wins. January 20th, 2025. Inauguration. January 21st, his second day in office, he signs the full and unconditional pardon. Ross Ulbricht, after 11 years, 3 months, and 21 days, walks free from prison in Arizona. His mother gets the call from the president himself. The man sentenced to die behind bars steps into sunlight at 40 years old. No probation, no conditions. Free. By spring 2025, Ross is on stages. Bitcoin 2025 conference in Las Vegas, his first public appearance. The crowd gives him a standing ovation that lasts minutes. "You didn't forget me," he says, voice cracking. He speaks of redemption, of the lessons learned, of a future building things that help people openly. The architect of the dark web's biggest marketplace, the man who fueled a generation's drug habits and ordered hits to protect his dream, is now a symbol, for some of government overreach, for others of dangerous leniency. Thousands overdosed on drugs bought on Silk Road, families shattered, yet no blood on Ross's hands directly. The murders never happened. Was the original sentence justice or cruelty? Was the pardon mercy or politics? The boy from Texas who wanted freedom built a machine that delivered chaos, and in the end, the system he hated set him free. The dread pirate Roberts sails again, not in shadows, but in the open.